Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my jbird. And this is remembering 1976 and 1977 when I first learned how to play chess. Moved the pieces around, created, eventually created my own opening, my own theory, and the way I played back then is still the way I play today. It's the way it is. I mean, you are who you are, and you play the way you play when you first play. Now, and let's get down to it. I'm in black, and this is called Nightbird, Knights 88, Jaybird. No errors, no assistance, no help of any kind to beat this bot. Game 28, and this bot's 1800. Now, maybe I can shine a little more light and deeper into my theory here on this game, which I'm working on today, right now. And let's get on with this. E4, D6, D4, D7, C3, E6, B5, A6. Now we'll go over this. A question might pop up. Well, I did say, well, it doesn't matter what pawns. Well, it doesn't, but it does. And because it just depends what you're dealing with all the time and how you want to play. But this game, I still open up the same way. But after A6, E2, I'll go over in the beginning a little bit better. After E2, H6, F3, E7, into the Knight's Bird since 1977, Castle, G5. I start my attack now. Once you can get in this position like this, looking like this, now this here, the program, you see this bishop here. This is good. Right now, this is telling me a whole lot with that bishop sitting here like that for this attack. After G5, E5, I pass D5. Now, it closed it all off. It seems like, well, that's okay. This is good. It don't look like much, but let's go. After D5, H3, Knight 88. Now the knight comes over, which they say this is an inaccuracy move. After F8, D2. Now that was the ninth move, so I could say 988, but no matter what, anytime the knights are on eights, it'll always called Knights 88. After D2, H7, he goes D3. No worries. Look, he's got to move the knight, he's got to move the pawn, and then get a queen behind. No, there's nothing. No, you got plenty of time. After D3, D7, into the J-bird. E1. Now I push. Now, the bots, 1800, 1900, all the way up to 2600 or 2700. Sometimes they move the knight, sometimes they don't move the knight. They could jump it back here. Let's see what happens. After H5, A3, I push G4. He goes H2, which this is normal. I mean, the higher end bots, still play this move. After H2, I take. You got to take it. Take H3. He goes F3. Now, normally, I think they do take it. I think, I forget. Sometimes they do. I guess sometimes they don't. But I think more often they do take it. But after F3 takes G2, King takes G2. G5. Now, maybe, I guess it would have helped me anyway. I would have got my rook lift too. So, after G5, and we'll come back to this point here. I'll show you how this theory else it can run. It's cool. I'll show you. I'm working on it today. After G5, takes G5, takes G5. He goes F4. And that pawn has to do with a lot with if it going to theory the other way, which I'm going to show you later on. After F4, E7, bring it back. He goes F5. You got to take F5. He takes. And that's another thing. I keep forgetting about that knight sitting there on this. Now, on a higher level, there's a lot that goes on. I'll go back to this. This is where this bishop could have went here. I started my attack sooner. But we'll come back to that. After d5, e6, c4. I take d5 check, takes d5, g5. I want to get rid of that bishop quick to get the queen out. After g5, c4, takes d2, takes d2, h4. He goes back f1. I guess he didn't want to run the rook over. Then it'd be check. Then things would go a little bit different here. But after f1, I castle. And now this is all good for me. I'm good. I'm happy. f2. I take, of course, I'm going to trade everything down now. I'm happy with this position. We're even in pieces. Let's see. After f2, takes f2. Two rook and a knight, two rook and a bishop. Okay, I like this. My king's tucked away, and look where his is. That's why there's confidence. You play this game right, you can win it. After f2, h4, d6, takes d6, takes f7, not worried about it. Takes e5, get rid of that piece. Knock down pawns quick. After e5, c1 check, b8, safe. I'm on a black square. Takes g8, takes g8, takes e5, h3, and now look, he can't come over here, and that I got him. I got him. Look at this. After h3, f5 takes. That's all right. Take it. h2. Guess what? That rook is stuck. Can never leave. Ever. Or I'm going to get a queen. Now, after h1, g7, b3. Get the other rook in the game. g4, d5, d4, g2. Check d2, g3, d3. Check f3. Takes f3. Yes, I want to trade down. Takes f3. e7. Like I said, he can never leave. And if he comes over here and wants to trade, look, he's done. After c7, g3, d6, b4, takes d5, takes h2, takes h2, takes h2, c4, king's too far away, g3, b3, f4, takes a3, e5, takes b4, d4, b5, d3, b3, d2, b2, d3, a5, let him have nothing, he can't get in, d4, b3, d5, b4, d4, a4, c5, a3, d4, a2, d3, queen a1, e4, d1, f5, e1, f6, c3, f5, b3, g6, f1, h6, g1, h5, b2, h4, b1, h5, and that's game. Let's go back. I want to take you back to the point. Let's quickly go back so you can see it. And like I say, normally I don't do it that way. And if he pushes one pawn, like he pushed that one, that's a good pawn to push. He goes, then the other one would be best to do that. Then you can always lock it up. That was the purpose. But I went like this, then I push, then I push. If he takes, it's a different game. If he takes the knight, probably would have took to the bishop. And there's the knight's bird. Then I could have maybe went to knight's queen. Depends. Things get switched around. I start my attack, pass. Knight's 88. I go over here, like I mentioned. Now he goes back. There's plenty of time. jbird. Now I go here. I should have, instead of that, I'm working on putting this up here. I got a lot of games I'm working on. I got to push that up, put the queen up, then castle, or push this pawn up, and then the queen here, and then castle, then start the attack. Which, you know, you might see these games yet. But I didn't do it that way. I got in a hurry. Now he went here. Now, instead of him going here, no, here, and then I go, wait, so let's go back. He goes here, and I go there. Let's say it would have went like this instead. He takes, I take, he goes here, I go here, he goes here. This is what they normally do, and then I go. That's what the higher program does, and then I go like this, and then I'll leave it at that, because now it gets more complicated here. And that's what I'm working on right now. But the higher program would have that all figured out already, and there might be some different moves here and there to get that all done. Okay, but that's not what happened, but this is what it kind of starts looking like. All right, let's go back, but it went like this, and now instead of moving, he would take, now that's a whole nother game this way. You're taking this, you know, it starts a whole nother trend. And then it looks like maybe the knight would come up, get the knight over here, then you're trading. Oh man, it just gets crazy. But the game went like this. It gets really crazy in this theory here that I have, which I hope one day I get it perfected to the 2100, because like I said, this theory, you get it perfected at 2100, you can beat the 22, the 23, the 24, the 25, and the 26. Guaranteed. If you get to perfect it, this opening to the 2100, because there's a couple varieties and they're not much off different. But this game went like this. I knew he can't, there's nothing. And then once I trade, he takes, I come up. He goes here. Well, he's never can leave here. And if he goes, let's say he goes here. Well, let's say he just goes like this. Well, I'm going to hide behind here. You see what I'm saying? He still can't leave. Now what's he going to do? All right, let's say he does a prophylactic move. I could still say check. What's he going? He loses it. He loses it. Now he can come over here and say check for me. He could go like that. But now he's just letting me. So that's why I can't do it. All right, I just showed you. This game goes on, he's losing. I just showed you. Nope, take it back. It went like this. That's why, nope, and I want to trade because I see what I'm going to do right away. And he's too late. Either way, it's still, he didn't get it. So, and I moved these just right to get both the pawns, not just one. Like I said, I want to get good at the end game with the king and pawns deal here. And that's game. All right, thanks for stopping by. And we're going to have some more remembering 1976 and the 77.